1:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The Uma Oya Multipurpose Development Project was inaugurated by the Presidents of Iran and Sri Lanka. Farmers to get a financial subsidy for paddy cultivation activities in 2024 Yala season from next week. Maithripala Sirisena prevented from functioning as the SLFP chairman until trial ends. 3-day parliamentary debate on Easter attacks begins today. Foreign news, the US Senate passes bill that could see TikTok banned. The Uma Oya Multipurpose Development Project has been invested with the public by the Iranian President Dr. Ibrahim Raisi and President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Presidents of Iran, Dr. Ibrahim Raisi, arrived in Sri Lanka this morning for a one-day visit. He was accorded a cordial welcome by Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena at the Mattala International Airport. At the invitation of President Ranil Wickremesinghe, the Iranian President arrived in Sri Lanka after wrapping up his 3-day visit to the neighbouring Pakistan. This is the first visit of an Iranian president to Sri Lanka after former President Dr. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad's visit in April 2008. Coinciding with Dr. Raisi's visit, Sri Lanka and Iran will sign 5 memorandums of understanding today in a bid to bolster the bilateral relations between the two nations. The financial allocation for the project is $529 million. Out of this amount, 85% has been provided by the government of Iran. This project was initiated in the year 2010 and 120 megawatts of electricity is to be added to the national grid. Water facilities will be provided to more than 20,000 hectares of land in Vallawaya, Thanamalwila and Lunugahambera Divisional Secretariat divisions. In addition, water supply will be given to 40 small tanks up to Lunugahambera Reservoir. The official ceremony to welcome the Iranian president will be held at the Presidential Secretariat this afternoon. A special statement by the presidents of Iran and Sri Lanka is to be delivered. The government has decided to provide a financial subsidy to the farmers to use for paddy cultivation in the 2024 Yala season. In this regard, the Cabinet memorandum submitted by the Minister of Agriculture and Plantation Industries, Mr. Mahinda Amaravira, was approved by the Cabinet last March. Accordingly, arrangements have been made to provide an amount of 15,000 rupees per hectare to the farmers who are cultivating paddy this year as well. It is acceptable to use this money for buying fertilizers for any other purpose for paddy cultivation. The Minister of Agriculture and Plantation Industries, Mr. Mahinda Amaravira, asked the Department of Agrarian Development in this regard today in the morning, drawing attention to the statements made by some farmers organizations that they have not received this money yet. According to this, the cultivation of paddy in the Yala season has already started, but the Department of Agrarian Development emphasizes that correct information is currently being collected regarding the farmers who are cultivating paddy in the Yala season. These activities will be completed this week. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Colombo District Court has delivered a permanent injunction preventing former President Maithripala Sirisena from functioning as the chairman of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party SLFP. The order was issued with regard to a plaint filed by former SLFP Executives Committee member Montego Sarachandra. Accordingly, the permanent injunction will be effective until the conclusion of the trial. This is the second order issued by the Colombo District Court barring Sirisena from functioning as the SLFP chairman. The previous court order was delivered with respect to a case filed by former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumartunga. Meanwhile, the court order preventing the Executive Committee of Sri Lanka Freedom Party from ousting its members Mahinda Amaravira, Duminda Disanayake and Lasantha Alagiwanna from their respective party positions has been extended. Accordingly, the interim injunction will be in place until the 8th of May on the orders of the Colombo District Court. Colombo District Judge Sandun Vitana delivered this extension when a plaint filed by the 3 MPs was taken up this morning. The 3-day adjournment debate on the 2019 Easter Sunday terror attacks will be taken up in Parliament today in accordance with a motion brought forward by the opposition. The decision was taken at a meeting of the Parliamentary Business Committee convened earlier this month. Soon after the commencement of the parliamentary proceedings today, the Code of Criminal Procedure Amendment Bill, second reading, and regulations under the Poisons, Opium and Dangerous Drugs Ordinance are scheduled to be debated from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. Thereafter, the adjournment debate on the Easter Sunday attacks will continue from 10:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
The central bank says that engaging in a pyramid scheme is a punishable offence. Investigations will be conducted in this regard where such schemes are functioning further. 8 such institutions that are functioning against the law of the Banking Act have been identified. The central bank has requested the Attorney General to file a case against these institutions, and that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
In Watchlight this afternoon, farmer communities had complained that crop damages have been caused by monkeys, peacocks, and by other animals. They have also complained that the monkeys sometimes snatch clothes and goods and destroy them as well. They request the relevant authorities to take speedy measures to minimize this harm, and that came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
The headlines first. The U.S. Senate passes bill that could see TikTok banned. Israel's war on Gaza. Israeli strike Rafah, intense shelling in north. Congress clears $95 billion aid package for Ukraine and Israel. The U.S. Senate has approved a controversial landmark bill that could see TikTok banned in America. It gives TikTok's Chinese owner ByteDance 9 months to sell its stake, or the app will be blocked in the United States. The bill will now be handed over to the U.S. President Joe Biden, who has said he will sign it into law as soon as it reaches his desk. ByteDance also told BBC that it did not have an immediate response to the move. Previously, the firm said it would oppose any attempt to force it to sell TikTok. 3 members of a family in Rafah have been killed and 4 wounded after Israel military strike hit their home in southern Gaza's Rafah. Al Jazeera correspondent says continuous artillery shelling in Gaza's northern Beit Lahia, Beit Hanun and Jabalia neighborhoods has been reported. Overnight, Filipe Lazzarini, the head of the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, says the Israeli campaign against the agency has said it operating hand-to-mouth after donors pulled funding. Gaza media continues to search for bodies at the site of a mass grave in the grounds of Nasser Medical Complex in Khan Yunis, where at least 310 bodies have been recovered so far. The U.S. Senate has approved a $95 billion foreign aid package that includes military support for Ukraine, Israel and Taiwan. President Joe Biden is expected to sign the legislation into law today. The Senate on Tuesday evening backed the measures passed by the U.S. House of Representatives on Saturday. It includes $61 billion in military aid for Ukraine, which Pentagon says can start being delivered to the war-torn nation within days. And back to the headlines of the world news. The U.S. Senate passes bill that could see TikTok banned. Israel's war on Gaza. Israelis strike Rafah, intense shellings in north. Congress clears $95 billion aid package for Ukraine and Israel. And that ends world news. Moving on to development news. 3 dilapidated roads in the Ua province will be renovated. The Minister of Irrigation has granted financial assistance of nearly 10 million rupees. The construction work of the roads are to be completed within 3 months. And that was development news.
Moving on with sports news.
On sports news, the qualifying match of the T20 World Championship Women's Cricket Tournament will begin in Abu Dhabi tomorrow. 10 teams will compete under 2 categories. The tournament will be played in Bangladesh. Sri Lanka will participate under the A category. Thailand, Scotland, Uganda and the United States will participate in the tournament. Meanwhile, the first match of Sri Lanka women's team will be played with Thailand tomorrow. And that was sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
On to business news. Industry Expo 2024 International Industrial Exhibition will be held at the BMICH from the 19th of June to the 23rd. It has been organized by the Ministry of Industry and Lanka Industrial Development Board. 1,300 trade stalls of 21 industrial sectors will be exhibited at this exhibition. And that was business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. Tourism Minister Harin Fernando yesterday revealed plans to amend the recently implemented visa procedures, allowing tourists to apply for a single-entry 30-day visa starting from the 1st of May. The move comes in response to concerns raised by industry stakeholders and aims to rectify loopholes in the new visa system launched by the government last week. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
And in the weather report, showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in the western, Sabragamua, central and the northwestern provinces and in the Gaul and Mathura districts after 2 p.m. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in the Uva province during the afternoon or night. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the Sabragamua, central and Uva provinces during the morning. Well, that was the weather report. And prior to concluding this news broadcast, the headlines once again. The Umaoya Multi-Purpose Development Project was inaugurated by the Presidents of Iran and Sri Lanka. Farmers to get a financial subsidy for paddy cultivation activities in 2024 Yala season from next week. Maithripala Sirisena prevented from functioning as the SLFP chairman until trial ends. A 3-day parliamentary debate on Easter attacks begins today. Foreign news, the US Senate passes bill that could see TikTok banned. Well, with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And it's over to Chandima Virakon on the other side to keep you entertained until 4 p.m. Over to you, Chandima.
Thank you very much, Geetanjali. That was Geetanjali Ramanayaka bringing you the afternoon bulletin of news. 29 minutes down, 1 is the time. You are tuned to Radio Sri Lanka.